Do you want it zoomed in at all, or?
Maybe a little bit. A little more. I feel like this is actually a really exciting mukbang because usually we just cook like one thing and pick at it, but this is like a lot of food. Excited? Doesn't that look the bomb?
That looks pretty bomb diggity.
Guys,
not gonna
look
lie.
at this burger that we made.
Man.
It's like has the chow cheese on it, and then I grilled it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Why do you have bread instead of buns? Because they didn't have any vegan ones, or?
They didn't have any bread at our little Junction Express.
Oh, okay.
And I didn't feel like going to Safeway, so.
So we got bread.
So today, guys, we're eating these field roast burgers because I get so many comments where people are like, you never eat junk food. Do you eat perfect all the time? It's like, I don't know. If you guys actually knew how much junk food we eat, you'd probably be like, wow.
It's not that bad. I'm definitely the culprit of eating more of the junk food than Hannah. That's for sure.
Yeah. I feel like the more that you eat clean, the less that you really crave junk food. I would rather bake my own chips and make my own salsa and guacamole than eat like bagged ones.
Oh, yeah.
Not the... Oh my god. These burgers are not good for you, by the way. They have 16 grams of fat per each one. But it
Per
says...
burger? That's alright.
But it says they're made with barley, carrots, celery.
They are delicious, though. Oh my god. Like, if you were to give this to somebody who... See, the thing is, like, if you're... Say you're, like, going to a barbecue or you have family over, like, don't tell them that it's, like, vegan. Just give it to them.
This does not taste vegan.
Just give it to them. Don't make a big deal out of it. Say you have, like, children and they're kind of fussy around eating vegan food or whatever. Just don't tell them. Just give it to them. And just let them eat it. Because they might be like, this is really good. But if you tell them it's vegan, they're going to be like, oh, it's not going to be very good because it's vegan.
It's like fake meat. So bad for you. So I think for the format of these mukbangs, we're just going to answer your guys' questions from the previous mukbang. Because I like that format because it kind of lets us interact with you guys. And we get a lot of questions. We get a lot of funny questions and crazy questions. Yeah, so that's just what we're going to do for these mukbangs. You know.
So did you get some questions?
Yeah, I sent them to myself on my phone.
This is also good.
That was good too. The first question is by Giovanni Salinas. What if you guys get divorced?
That's a good question. See,
It's like, what if you get cancer tomorrow?
Yeah. I've never really thought about it because I never really let the possibility into my reality.
Not planning on it?
I haven't really planned on it or thought about it or wanted to do it. I don't know. I feel like a lot of times maybe a divorce is not necessarily like incompatibility. It's maybe just stubbornness.
Yeah.
And people not really wanting to try to figure out how to make things work.
Fix it.
But I think you should know if there's like a time and place when you should end a relationship, whether you're married or not. And yeah, I think something that we certainly hear a lot is like most of Hannah's audience are women, and their spouse is not vegan.
Yeah.
So either their husband or their boyfriend. And the thing with that is, like, don't make it, like I just said earlier, don't make it into such a big deal. Just let them kind of do their thing, and, you know, maybe over time.
So many people
Hannah.
in our Facebook groups say that they, like, made our meals and their husbands or whatever asked for it.
Yeah.
They're like, could you make me that fancy vegan dish?
Yeah.
And they're like, he's not eating meat, and they're just so excited.
Yeah. And then there's gonna be certain guys out there that are just total assholes and total dicks, and they just refuse to change.
Yeah.
And like, if it just gets to a point where it's detracting from the happiness in your life, and it's just really not, it's just like, man, this is such a pain in the ass, then maybe it's time to move on, or, you know. But that's obviously, it's very personal, and I can't really tell anybody what to do. But like, I made a decision a long time ago that it was like, I'm not gonna date anyone or be with anyone that wasn't vegan, because it's such a big part of our lives, especially like what we eat, because we're eating, everybody typically eats a number of times per day. So
I feel like we wouldn't get divorced just because we have so much in common. Like, we didn't marry each other for money or because like the other person had a lot to offer, or sometimes people just get married because they've been with somebody since high school and they're like, oh, it's the next step, or we should have kids, or like we don't have anything that's really like tying us to each other. We got married because we had to be together. But if we both lived in the same country, we never would have gotten married. Like, I always said that I would never get married because it's such a like government thing. Like, it doesn't prove that you love somebody.
yeah.
But for us to be together, we had to get married because Derek's Canadian. But we're both vegan. We both have YouTube channels. Like, we want to work independently online. We want to live off grid. Like, we have so much stuff in common that.
And just like our interactions, like you guys see our interactions on camera, and most of it on camera is pretty much like, it's not like a show or anything like that. It's like, it's how we interact and how we're joking around with each other and having fun, and like we always have like
so much fun
together, just doing stupid stuff like making fun of our dogs or playing skip-bo or like just random stuff. If our dogs could understand us, they probably have the shittiest self-esteem just because we joke around with them about certain things.
Yeah, that's like, it's just, I wanted to answer that question because it's like a stupid question. It's like asking somebody like, well, what if you get cancer? What if you find out you have AIDS tomorrow? It's like, what if? I don't know. What if I died?
What if like
we did a video about that? What if Hannah died?
There's so many what ifs in the world, and if you're always worried about like what if, you're never gonna get anything done.
Yeah.
Like,
it'd be too scary.
Man, there's so many things that I've done in my life where it's just like, if I just listened to other people and just kept thinking, oh, you know, like what if, none of it would have got done, or I never would have done any of those things. Like riding my bike across Southeast Asia and Australia, it's just like, I could have very easily been like, well, what if I get like hit by a car? I shouldn't go and do it, but I didn't get hit by a car. So if I did, then I would have dealt with it during that time.
Here's another question kind of going off that same thing. Hey, Hannah and Derek, I was wondering if you could comment or perhaps do a video on the process you went through for Derek to live in the USA. My situation is similar, as I'm American, my boyfriend's Canadian, and we'd like to settle together in the US. What visa options did you guys choose? What was it like? How long did it take? So we'll just answer this really quickly. The best option is to get a fiance visa. Don't like just randomly get married and then try and get one or the other into the country.
Yeah.
That's like the worst way, because the government, as long as you let them know like what you're doing and you go through the fiance visa process, it only took us, we heard about people taking like a year. It only took us 3 months to get that thing approved.
Yeah.
And I think
then it was probably 3 or 4 months afterwards that I actually was able to move into the country.
It was like May.
March. I think we applied for everything. It was like March. And then it was approved very much like quickly after that. And then I think it was September was when I actually moved to the United States. But that's because when I had my interview, they required more information. So because I was in Australia for more than a year, or I think it was 6 months, I can't remember. I needed to get like a certificate from the Australian police force.
That you weren't like a fugitive.
Yeah, saying that I didn't have a criminal record there. And then there's one other thing that they needed as well. But I was just able to like mail that stuff in. I didn't have to go in for another interview.
I would go that route though.
Fiance visa as opposed to a marriage visa.
And just like, I mean, the process was a little bit stressful, but just think about, it's just let the process happen. I mean, it's just a bunch of paperwork. That's all that it is. And once it's over, it's like you get to be
paperwork and money. That's all they want.
And then it's funny because when we actually went to our interview here, the guy, he didn't even like question us really.
Yeah.
Because we told him we had a YouTube channel together and we met on YouTube, and they hear some crazy stuff, you know, like people meeting on like Dungeons and Dragons or like whatever, like just weird things on the internet, you know. Oh, okay, here's the question. One question, Hannah made a video about not wearing a bra and talked about her petite breasts. So Derek, how do you feel about her breast size and that she no longer wears a bra? Do you think it's sexy, hot, or feels bad taste when her nips say hello? feels bad when I nip out? My boobs definitely shrunk when I lost weight. So like losing 70 pounds, I went from like, I lost like 2 cup sizes. And I don't know, I think I've obviously like thought about getting my boobs done, but I would never do it. I could never do it. And like the fact that I feel like if you are a girl with small boobs, like you can just be like really confident and just like flaunt it and it's hot. You know, instead of being like insecure and being like, I have to get a boob job. Like I would feel so weird having something artificial inside my body just because I'm so paranoid about my health and stuff. Oh my gosh, like I could never do it. I brought it up to Derek once and he fucking flipped out on me. He was like, no way are you getting a boob job.
I have a very strong opinion against plastic surgery. And then I know some girls are gonna be like, well, it's our bodies, we can do whatever we want.
You can do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want.
Really. If you want a boob job, get a boob job. But for me, I couldn't have something fake in my body. It'd freak me out.
Yeah.
I would think it's like deteriorating or like killing me.
I just also don't think it's very healthy. Like I think that's another aspect of it. Like, don't you have to get them replaced every once in a while as well?
I think like every 10 or 15 years or something, but I would be paranoid about the health aspects of it.
Yeah. I mean, like I just couldn't imagine, like, for example, for me, if say I had like just a silicone cup just sitting in my body.
Say if
like,
my boobs were silicone, I would be like,
I don't know. I just it's not something that it's not something that really appeals to me to have like you have like fake tits. I'm not like, oh wow, yeah, I'm so excited. It's just like I love her as she is. I don't want her to change. So. Well, that's how I feel. Yeah, there's no like condition on our relationship other than the initial stuff. Like if say for example, like she was no longer vegan, that would certainly put a damper on our relationship, I think.
What if I ate like honey though?
Honey's kind of up in the air.
Yeah. Actually,
I personally don't eat it.
We don't eat it. We don't buy honey and like put it on stuff. But honestly, when you think about honey, it's like,
I know vegans who do eat honey. Like consciously, they eat it. I don't think that they're.
Not vegan.
Yeah, like I don't think that they're like terrible vegans or anything like that.
It's really circumstantial because like even our friend, we have a friend, I won't say his name, but he has chickens and he like rescued all of them, and the chickens have eggs obviously. So it's not like he bought the chickens, because even if you raise your own chickens and you buy the chickens, like the industry that sold those chickens to you are still like killing all the male chicks, right? So that's not vegan. But if you rescue them and they lay eggs and you eat the eggs, like, is that vegan? Like, I wouldn't say that he's not a vegan because once a month he has an egg from one of his rescued chickens.
Yeah. I'd be more worried about the health consequences. Yeah. Personally.
Like, we thought about getting chickens, but we would never eat the eggs.
Yeah.
And our friend that's vegan actually feeds the eggs back to her chickens because it's, like, good for them and they eat it. Yeah. But I wouldn't say that that person is not vegan because they eat an egg from a rescued chicken. Like, that's more health aspects than anything.
The definition of vegan is a very loose definition because it's like you have to do your best to minimize the amount of impact.
I mean, you could even say these burgers aren't vegan because they have palm oil in them, and like there's just so much stuff. You could say coconuts aren't vegan because you don't know if a monkey slave picked them, or like there's so much that goes into it. But it's when you think about honey, personally, I think like it's not that big of a deal. Like, I'd rather eat honey than eat eggs or something accidentally, or eat dairy accidentally, because...
Eat dairy accidentally? You'd rather eat dairy?
No, I said I'd rather eat honey than eat eggs or dairy accidentally.
Oh, yeah.
Dairy is
Damn,
the
dairy is
last
awful.
thing that I would want to eat accidentally. But I don't know. Bees pollinate everything, so technically, almonds aren't vegan, blueberries aren't vegan. 90% of the stuff that grows isn't vegan.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, let's
get to the next
it's
question.
a very, yeah, it's a very,
Loose term.
it's a very loose term, I'd say. And it's always open to interpretation, and that's the thing. And people will interpret it in very odd ways, but that I've seen at least on the vegan YouTube realm.
I have a question. It seems like you two have kind of a labor of division where Derek is mostly engaged in working on the tiny house property and Hannah spends more time earning money. Derek, how do you feel now that Hannah is mostly engaged in making money? How does it feel to be financially dependent on her? Do you aim towards making more income yourself or in the future? See, that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people think that he's like financially dependent on me, but we built our business together. Like, we built everything together. He wrote a lot of the books and all this stuff. I'm just more of like the face of it. But all the technical stuff, all the like formatting of the ebooks, all the sales stuff, everything Derek did. And yeah,
all the business, like on the
business side,
the business and technical side of it is like stuff that is very interesting to me. Like, I have no desire to like make recipes and take photos. Like, that's what Hannah does really well, and I really enjoy working on the website.
You also did a lot
formatting all the books, and the Instant Pot book. Even though Hannah took all the photos, pretty well all the recipes like I formulated, all the text in the book I formulated, a lot of the text in the original 3 books I did.
But you also studied a lot of like marketing and
I've worked with business coaches to help us.
Lots of stuff. And actually tomorrow he's going to a development seminar with Bob Proctor in LA to just even work on stuff more. But he does have a vision for like his tiny house stuff, and he wants to become more of like a revenue stream for us. Yeah. And stuff. But
I'll just talk about it right now. So like my idea, well, it's not really an idea because I've already started to put it into practice, is so it's a website that is gonna have a number of high quality guides specifically for homestead projects. So it's going to be called DIYHomesteadProjects.com, and I'm already starting to work on guides with like localized experts. So the guy who helped me work on the fence, we're already starting to work on a guide so that when they come to a vacant land or they buy a piece of property and they want to put a fence up, they can do it themselves, and they have really, really, really like good quality information. I'm working with a guy on the solar setup, and so we're going to create a guide on basically how we're setting up our solar. I'm going to write a guide on the tiny house, on the 12 by 8 foot shed, and a lot of the other projects that I'm going to be doing. Not the rain roof. The rain roof is so simple to put together. I don't know if it requires a guide, but it's something that it's something that I've already started to work on. And so it'll be another business that's going to be separate from Raw to Whenever, and it's going to be more so my baby, I guess you could say, and something that I'm going to be working on a lot. And
I think the thing that people don't see is that Derek, like, sure, like we could just have our ebooks and do what we do forever and just make money off of like our ebooks and mainly like my YouTube channel and stuff. But Derek's not like that. Like, he's very ambitious. He wants to have his own thing. He wants to like be able to say I created this and you know, that kind of stuff. Whereas I see some YouTubers or other people where their girlfriend or their wife or whatever is really successful and they're just kind of like in the background being like their coach and like helping them, which is fine, but they never actually have any ambition to do anything themselves. So I think that like obviously nobody's ever been like, oh, Derek's just freeloading off Hannah. Because it's not like that. It's like we created everything together and I'm really just like the face of it. Because think about how popular our recipe books would be if Derek was promoting them, you know? or
What's
whatever.
actually funny, something that I remembered, because somebody who bought our books right when they first came out, originally went with Hannah's original book, Raw to Whenever. That was also, I also had a recipe book called Real Food, Real Simple that was sold along with that original book. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So even from the get-go,
Yeah, we bundled them.
we bundled them up so you could buy both of them. And that was like the start of it. So it's not like it was all Hannah or something like that. There was definitely a lot of us working on it together
Yeah.
and stuff. So I mean,
And
a
then
lot of people don't necessarily know that, but
It's
that's
just,
kind of how it all started.
It's just crazy, like how much more successful a girl can be when they've had like a transformation like me than just a normal guy like Derek writing a book. Because how many did you sell? Like 10, 15 before?
Probably like 15 or 20.
Like 15 or 20 books in how long? Like a year?
Not a year.
6 months?
I don't know. I can't remember. It was a long time ago.
But when Raw Till Whenever came out, I remember you were just like blown away. You're like, oh my God. Because it's just a girl with a really inspiring story. And that's what people want. Like, they want to be inspired, you know? Anybody can really make a good recipe book or really good content, but people want to be inspired to change their life because they need somebody to, like, look up to like, guide them in the right direction and stuff.
Yeah. And I've certainly learned so much about producing quality value for people. And, like,
Yeah.
that's going to, like, what I've learned from doing Raw to Whenever is going to transfer into future business endeavors, because it's not really like the DIY homestead projects is not just about money. It's really about like it's like the way that I like to always phrase it is I wish I had these before I started building this. And so if I can help other people at least get the confidence or the know-how to do a lot of these things, then that's great. Then it's like an equal value exchange, and that's
what we focus on.
That's what we focus on. It's
We
like
focus on giving more value than people
Yeah.
are paying for. So, like, always giving you guys free videos, free recipes, and our if you're
Cheat sheet.
on our email list, like our cheat sheet, like just everything. We try to give more than we get.
Yeah, you can never give too much,
Yeah.
because something that Bob Proctor always talks about is you can give and give and give, and it's like sowing your seeds. So it's like planting the garden, right? Keep sowing the seeds, you keep giving and giving and giving value to people, and over time what happens, you have a beautiful garden, and you don't really have to sow the seeds, right? Maybe they replant themselves or whatever, and then you just keep reaping the abundance or the reward of all the seeds that you've been sowing prior to that.
Do you want to
And
fry?
say, for example, you're working with someone specifically and you give them a lot of value and say they don't end up buying anything from you, you might think to yourself, well, I'm not going to give any more, just because you maybe had one bad experience with one person. But since you've put out all that value and you've given so much, it's like there's a void in the universe, and the universe will fill that void. And you might get the abundance, or you might get that value back in a way that you didn't know, or you just might not make the connection.
Yeah.
So I always try to keep that in mind. Like, for example, we've had people come out and visit, and like I'll spend like 2 or 3 hours just talking with them and showing them around and being like, yeah, like you can do this too. Like, here's some ideas for you. And like, I'm not asking for money from these people. I'm very happy just to like show them and try to help them and inspire them in any kind of way. Because I do know that giving also means that you're going to be in a state of, the more that you give, the more that you receive. So it's not like I'm giving help just because I know I'm going to get something back, because it feels good to give. Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't love to give, right?
How excited they are when they come out.
Yeah, and they get inspired and they're like, damn, like, yeah. And like, just that interaction is great. And if someone's willing to drive 2 or 3 hours just to come see us, like, I'll spend 2 or 3 hours chatting with them. So.
Yeah. We got really off topic with the questions.
That's all right.
But yeah, that's kind of our philosophy is we don't really focus on making money. We just focus on inspiring people and giving people really high quality content and
Yeah.
just aspiring to inspire people to change their lives to a more plant-based diet, because it's just better for everything. Like, it's better for the planet, it's better for your body, it's better for the animals. It's a win-win. And I think, like, karmically, like, if you guys believe in karma, I just don't think that you can cause harm to another being like that and not have it come back to you, which is why I think so many people get cancer and heart disease and die young deaths and stuff. It's just because you can't, even if you're not, you know, killing the animal yourself, you're still paying for somebody else to kill it and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't think anything good is going to happen to you, which we all do things that cause harm to this world, but if you know of something that is causing harm and you keep doing it, like, you should try and stop it and find a better way, you know? So yeah.
Yeah, I think we've almost got all the potato fries doing.
Yeah, we're almost done. But hopefully you guys like this mukbang better, because a lot of times you guys are just like, you guys never eat your mukbangs. Or we'll eat something really small, and we just talk. But I don't know. I just like doing the mukbangs because it's just a way to, it's just an excuse to sit down and kind of do a Q&A and talk to you guys.
Yeah.
And people really like to watch these when they're eating and stuff, and I like to show you guys new products and stuff. So maybe instead of making so many dishes, because we don't actually make them in these mukbangs, we'll just try new vegan stuff and then tell you guys how it was. But I would definitely recommend these. Like, this was the best veggie burger I've ever had. Especially with the chow cheese on it, because we melted the field roast chow cheese on it. We should just eat the other two for dinner.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Down
for it.
But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And
leave your questions.
Yes, leave your questions, because we're gonna be just answering your questions in this format. So if you guys see a question that somebody else asked and you want us to answer it, just thumbs it up so that we don't get like a million of the same ones, then we know which ones you guys really want us to talk about. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.